Yo, so what's going on, Battlefielders? My name is Pone, and we are playing a little bit of Armored Kill, and we're here to talk about that brand new favorite toy in Battlefield 3, and that is the Gunship, aka the AC-130. Now, I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit about it, and it's kind of a love-hate relationship, but not in your standard form, like you either love it or hate it, but it's actually more along the lines of which side of the team you are on. Now, I'm going to be talking to you guys basically across the rush game type, not about conquest, because my concerns and the things that I want to address about this certain vehicle. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. We're going to talk completely about the rush game type. Conquest can come later, blah, blah, blah. But basically, the AC-130, aka the Gunship, is a new addition to the Armored Kill DLC for Battlefield 3, something we've not seen before. Now, the gunship is basically one large-ass gunship that floats above the map in a circular motion. It is not manned, it does it all by itself. So basically there are two seats inside the vehicle. You control which one you want to be. Only two people are available to spawn in it, and you could do it from the spawn screen. So it's not your standard vehicle that you just hop in and drive off. Now, the difficulties with this is, like I said, it really, you're going to love this vehicle, but only if you have it on your side. It really does take a lot to take this heifer down, man. I tell you what, I think I put 3 shots into it right there and still nothing. It just keeps going on. I think it takes about 5, give or take 1 shot with the stingers. Now, this is what it brings in. Now, I'm playing on console right now. I'm playing on PlayStation 3, even though my home console or system or whatever is the PC. I like to play on the PC, which I don't think this is going to be too much of a concern. There's a few things that I don't want to address, but it's basically revolving around small player servers, something around the 24 to 32 man. Now, when you got something so distracting, so powerful as the AC-130, aka the Gunship, as long as that's up in the air, it proves to be a big distraction and a big tool to help the attacking side on rush. So the issue being is that it takes so much to die that you're going to need a handful of people on your team to be able to have, you know, the IGLAs out or the Stingers or something like that. I mean, because there are jets for both sides, but you also have to worry about that. If a defensive jet is trying to gun down the Gunship, understand it'll probably take you 2 or 3 runs. You know, come in, plow right into it, run around, make a turn, and go into it. It does take a lot to take this bad boy down. And that's something you're going to see from this. Generally, you're going to see about 2, maybe 3 runs with the jets to take down a Gunship, which means it really does survive. It also has the ability to use its flares, which means it can deflect a lot of the incoming missiles. And that makes it actually quite, you know, it gets that extra punch, that extra survivability that is crazy. It's unnecessary, man. This thing's already on steroids, and you got to give the thing little fireworks too. It's not necessary. And so my main concern is that a lot of people have been arguing that it's overpowered. Do I think it's overpowered? No. I don't think it's honestly overpowered because it's when you're playing on rush, I mean, it's really hard to notice. You're generally right there around the objectives. You're usually clouded around it. When you're on the defensive side of a rush game type, you're generally around the objectives. And when you have something like the AC-130 in the air, look at me right now. How will I know if it's anywhere in the air right now? Most things, most tanks, most ground vehicles you see, they get spotted. You'll notice they're there. You can notice that they're, you know, 100 meters away, so on and so forth. But when the AC-130 is up in the air, you only have about, if lucky, 1/4 of the sky that you're able to notice. And it's kind of out of sight, you know what I mean? Out of mind, and you're not, you know, aware that it's there. So it generally takes, you know, a death before it registers, oh shit, there's a Gunship in the air. Or that, or, you know, when you hear it. So the biggest concern with this is not only is it such a strong tank, it's a great tool for the attacker team. As you can tell right here, I can notice these guys, I can zoom in, I could lead the shot a little bit, you've got the thermal, you can do a lot of damage with one of these things, and completely cover an objective single-handedly. If this thing can stay afloat while somebody plants the objective, this thing will probably be able to stay alive long enough for that objective to be fully cleared, and you be able to walk away with it. Now, I think that's kind of where it borders somewhat overpowered. I think there needs to be something else. I think it needs to take a few less of the stinger shots, because you could see me right now taking shots after shots after shots. You chalk up the flares. It really is a dangerous tool. And I noticed myself playing this on the defensive side. I absolutely hated this because, you know, with the rotation of the flares, you have to communicate with other people, and you got to hope that everybody else is doing this. So my main concern is when you're playing in smaller servers, like 24-man console, you got 12 people per team. You can pretty much guarantee factor that if you're ever on a map that has a Gunship, 5 to 8 people are probably using the Stingers, which means not only are they ready to look up at the sky, they're not going to be too useful on the ground because they're so occupied with what's up in the air, but that also means that they do not have the advantage of having RPGs or something to take care of the ground troops or the land vehicles. So that takes away a lot of the threat, meaning that It's a lot easier for the ground vehicles to get in there, infiltrate, and do a lot more work because, you know, how many times have you been able to worry about the AC-130 in this game, and you're going to notice that, you know, is a big threat, and you see a big-ass tank roll by, and you're like, well, I got these stingers, it's not going to work now, is it? And it just becomes kind of a burden. So I think, I don't know what I think about this. I mean, from a defensive standpoint, I had a couple buddies with me. We took these things down generally within the first 30 seconds. They got 5 or 10 kills, something like that. It can be kind of a pain in the ass because understand this is Rush. Almost all of the action is packed into one general area, and you're hovering right above it. So my main concern is with such limited people, like on console, you got 12 people per team. Half of them are using the IGLAs, which means half, you know, that's half the threat of that your ground troops have to encounter. And you also have to worry about it being right on top of the objectives. You have to worry about it covering the objective. So basically, if somebody plants an outdoor objective, the gunship's going to cover that thing by just repetitively shooting on it. You're not going to be able to defuse it. There's nothing you could do about it. And that's kind of a problem in my mind. So I don't necessarily think that it's overpowered. I just think they need to do more to make it more balanced. I mean, I don't think the attackers team should have the only gunship, or I think that they need to die a little quicker to something. I think it's not necessarily needs nerf, it just needs, I guess in a way it does. It needs to take a little bit of hit to health. Now when you get into other games, you know, this is where the complications come. When you talk about PC, when you got 64-man, you're talking about Conquest, where it's only in certain parts of the maps, it's not going to be so much of a threat. I mean, everything is concentrated on Rush. Look at these guys, I'm just spawn killing them over and over and over again. Where's the fairness in that? Where's, you know, and you're like, oh, that's not one of your standard Operation Metro spawn points where you're so bad, you just get stuck in it. I'm up in the air. Anybody that doesn't have a stinger is just kind of, you know, having to flee for their life. The guys that do have the stinger have to line up the shot, not get killed by the ground troops. And while they're so vulnerable looking up at the sky, the rest of the ground troops are actually just funneling in, taking the objectives. So I'm not sure how I honestly feel about this on console. I think it'll be a lot more balanced, a lot easier to do on 32, 64-man servers. But seriously, as it stands right now, the AC-130 is just not right in my opinion on console. 24-man or less servers. It has nothing to do with the size of the maps. I just think with the area, how concentrated it is, with all the people spawning in over and over and over again, and the gunship can just straight spawn trap everybody, kill everybody, take out the armor. And the other great advantage of the gunship, which you're noticing right now, even though I did bail out of it, is it does have the option to be a spawn point. Anybody at any time can spawn in the gunship, drop down, and parachute down. It has the gunship paradrop, which means all you have to do is click on that, and you have the advantage of dropping in, parachuting, and landing behind any objective. So not only is it dangerous to, you know, spawn trap and kill people down below, take care of some of the armor, not only does it stay alive for so long, it's also a mobile spawn point. Think about that, guys, and that is a very, very strong tool for the attackers to have. So I think they need to limit the ground vehicles. They need to do something to balance this out a little bit more so it's more enjoyable for console. Like I said, I do expect it to balance out a lot more for PC, but that's only because, you know, if you have your 5 or 10 guys ready with the IGLAs to take out the jets and the gunship, then you still have 20 people that still have RPGs, C4s, and healing. You know, as of right now, I have not been revived. I've played for 3 hours today. I've been revived like twice tonight. And that's not comfortable. That's not good to know that. And that's just kind of the concern, kind of the worry right now. I forget there are even jets in the air. You know, you forget all about that when you have a threat like this. So that's where I stand with it. I think it's a great addition. I just think they need to tweak it a little more, get it balanced out a little bit more, and that's where I stand with it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Remember to subscribe if you're new here. If not, do me a favor and hit the like button. It helps out a lot. And make sure you check this out. If you guys have not checked it out, I will be playing on PS3. If you guys want to come game with me, follow me on Twitter. I'll be playing on PS3 throughout most of the week, getting more footage, and I'm going to be giving you guys full gameplays of all the maps tomorrow, and I'll be doing it through all the game types as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.